Oh, yes, we have a hand. Haley. You have to unmute yourself, Haley. Welcome. Hi.
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I'm very grateful for this space. I just found you. This ability to connect and explore what's going on is so valuable.
Well, I feel you're sitting in yourself very beautifully right now.
I have recently started like a process of re-embodiment, inhabiting the internal space of my body.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. And with that, layers come up.
Of course. Bring a little more light towards my face here as you speak. Don't mind me. Okay. Yeah, so layers come up.
Yeah, and I've become accustomed with this process. I guess I guess I'm just gonna speak and hope that it gets what needs to be said, because it's hard to find words to describe, but I want to use this opportunity.
Yeah, please do. You're most welcome to.
Thank you.
Yeah, no need to hold back.
Okay. And so one aspect is finding balance of this like humanness versus this universal kind of absolute that I've come to recognize.
Okay.
And then at the same time, what's been happening more recently is this seeing through like the conceptual self, like the mind made self that I previously have taken myself to be.
Okay.
And so it's like balancing this re-embodiment, the layers, and then also the seeing that like it's not me, it is me, but at the same time, like there's a voice in my head that thinks it's me. And
sure. Yeah,
I see that now, where previously I thought I went along with it.
Yeah, that's what we do. People go along with it until they don't. So yeah, I'm happy for you to be waking up to that.
And so I guess there's sitting with you, I mean, the questions there, I don't even know what my like question is. I guess it's really more like a reaffirming, because like I'm kind of in this, sometimes it feels a little whirlwind-ish, because it's like the ground is, there is no ground. And but then I see that like those, that's the layers, like those are the layers, like the confusion and the you know, and so there is really nothing to do.
Except trust.
Yeah. Yes, yes, yes. And the beauty in that is it's so fruitful when you really, really fully let go.
Yeah, it is fruitful. And then you gain trust in yourself to be able to navigate all the different kinds of changes that will be taking place in you, because there will be a lot of changes. And letting go all kinds of conditioning, opening up to spaces that where you may not find yourself at time, in the same way. So all that is it's like a real training ground, to opening, to letting go and trusting. That those are really the two main wings that you want in life, is letting go and trusting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And being in places like this and other kinds of modalities are helpful, because one can see that this is actually the right direction, that is what takes place for all the folks who have gone before you, all the including people here in this group. It's a journey, and it's a really exciting journey, as I can tell you already know. And how wonderful to have support, along the way. Because then you don't have to like remake the wheel in terms of gaining understanding. Oh, this is natural, yeah, it's very helpful.
Yeah. And like what I just spoke about, there's been kind of like this desire to be able to speak about it, and nobody really can hear these words in a deep way. And so even just having this open line of communication and being heard is very valuable. Because one thing that is like, when I speak, I'm speaking to someone, and yet I'm speaking like about myself, like everything. Like I act like it has to do with them, but it's like it's just speaking to itself. It's like almost like any wisdom that I need to hear, like just be still and listen to your own voice.
Beautiful. Yeah, that's the interior teacher, right? Of life being, it's okay. Life being your teacher, Yeah, and self-correcting along the way, and using all these, Nala, everything's fine. You're fine. Come here. Come lay down. You don't have to be a guard dog right now. Yeah, that's wonderful. That's really wonderful. You're speaking to yourself.
And so then like the navigating of like relational relationship has been this new ground to walk on, where previously there was programming and conditioning, and I guess one thing that came was just like don't like not like how to relate, and then it was just like just relate, like just simply relate.
Beautiful. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. We've been taught how to navigate in a way that suits the moment, based on trying to stay safe. Yeah. And go along with the co-agreements that are in place regarding relating with other people. And everybody has their unique way of relating, and then we tend to morph ourselves a bit in order to, you know, connect with that person. Not a terrible thing. No, not at all. That's just our capacity to be changing, you know, but not to leave ourselves or betray ourselves, but just to be nuanced, right? In the moment. Like when you are with a tree, you're with a tree. When you're with a bird, you're with a bird. When you're with the post person, you know, behind the counter in a certain way. So we have these nuances, but we never have to leave ourselves when we engage. Never, ever. And it's actually a kindness in a way to open to nuance. It's a generosity, like I will meet you, you know, and but I won't leave myself. I won't betray myself while I do so. Yeah.
So is there a balancing between the humanness and the unnameable?
Yeah, there's a natural I'm sorry, I was laughing at one of the persons in our group, the way he's looking. Yeah, funny. Yeah, there's a balancing, and we get better and better at doing the balance, you know. And sometimes it's like a little teeter-totter, you know, like is it still called a teeter-totter? You know how when you're with someone of the same weight, you stay kind of balanced, right, for a while. Yeah. And it's not like one is better than the other, but there will be times when we're more in the ground, you know, in our humanness, and really feeling our bodies, feeling our whatever's going on, right? Maybe feeling some pain or suffering or whatever. And then there will be other times when we're in this more in the unnameable, as you put it, and just having a nice deconstructed break, you know, from the self, being nicely deconstructed and just resting in our being, and then, but really in the end they permeate each other. They become really interchange, you know, porous with one another.
Transparent
and united.
Okay.
One thing, right?
Yeah.
One thing where there's no pushing away of the humanness, and there's no grabbing onto either way, you know?
Yeah. It permeates. That permeates all of it.
Yes. So you already are tasting that, sounds like. So where does your question come from?
I guess it's in with you. I mean, being here, it's pulling from memory because it's not like really alive in this moment, but then it's pulling from memory and just
just I don't know. I think you're going to be fine. I think you're just fine, and keep learning. Let yourself learn. Be a student to as long as it takes, and you're going to be fine. I've learned a lot from being with maybe you've heard of Amma. Yeah. So I've learned a lot from watching hours and hours of watching Amma for 30 years now. And what I've learned, one of the things I've learned is that the more free one is, the less one holds back from being human, or the expression of human.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Thank you. Because I think there was almost like a permission, like the spiritual ego and everything that kind of develops along the way, like this permission that, because there has been like easily going into like the absolute, like that's the easy kind of part. So it's the, yeah, just allowing this expression that is equal to.
Beautiful. Yeah. And if you come up across some gritty parts, then just take the time to meet that and deal with it. If you need help, get help. But to realize that this is you have a lot of time, and to not worry, if it takes time. A lot of people think one should be quickly done and over with. No, it's not the way it works. Yeah. So it's a love affair, right? It's a love affair with form, with this expression of God, not wanting to push anything away ultimately. And then we learn also about boundaries along the way too, how to be open and welcoming, and at the same time have boundaries when needed. That's something that also takes time to learn. It's nice to meet you, really.
Oh, yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah, be well. Take good care. Isn't it sweet to have the Haley join us today? Not only are you youthful, but you bring like this freshness to the inquiry, to just opening to our potential. You bring a freshness in the way that you shared today, no matter what age, but you bring a freshness, which I think is always welcome. Would you all agree? Yeah. So we can touch in on, again, in our own way, to this innocent freshness that is sort of just a little bit in wonder, I guess. If any of us at any time become a bit bored or with our journey, or maybe too, and I don't know, maybe overly comfortable, perhaps, with where we're at. It's nice to bring that kind of fresh attitude. We can, for ourselves, to bring the fresh attitude of, in Zen, they call it beginner's mind, right? But just the wonder of, like, the beauty of this journey, the mystery, I don't know, just excitement a bit, maybe, about what's possible, still what's possible. Do y'all know what I'm talking about? Yeah, just opening to it, so we don't get overly comfortable with wherever we find ourselves. There's a person here that exemplifies that. An older version of Haley. Always, always, always young inside. Isn't it true? No matter what age, always young inside. Especially when we remain a little bit on the edge of curiosity. No, it doesn't have to be all the time, but just to not lose that. And when it's kind of done here, with the journey of curiosity of what's possible here, the vision opens up to taking in the wonder and beauty of life. Like the beauty and miracle of in the details of life. Like every morning I go out with my dog on this property where I am right now, and there's this big meadow and there's a stream that's part of this property, and there are beavers I've seen, and muskrats, and little frogs that squeak when I walk up. They squeak and hop in the water, and in the morning I never know what I'm going to see or not see. So I go out with this kind of tentative, like, ooh, I wonder what I'm going to discover right now. Besides, I wonder how many mosquito bites I'll get on my ankles, So it is this unknown, the unknown. And I think it's good. I think we should always be little bit like, whoa, I don't know what's going to happen. Instead of routine. Do you know what I'm saying? Never know what's going to happen.
I have to leave. I just didn't want to seem rude and disconnecting, but thanks for.
Thank you. Thanks for taking us on your exercise journey.
Yeah, I was sweating with the oldies.
You look like a little cartoon character.
Wash myself off. I'll see you all later.
Bye.
Bye.
Rick is a friend of mine. He's been wanting to join for a while. We also don't know what's going to happen with another person, right? Like when we start to get into routines with other people too much, it starts to get stagnant, right? And that's not necessarily the fault of the other person. It could be that we're not paying attention. We can open up our attention. Take in some more nuance. I don't know why, but when I look at my dog, I never get tired of looking at her. It's the same as when I look at my children, now that they're grown, even certain things I just never get tired of, It's that kind of wonder, like, how is that? Maybe because animals are so in the moment too, it's nice to meet them there. But that's kind of what happens often with people, when we get too used to somebody in a certain way, is we can make it ordinary.